amazing students and teachers and staff members and also Bugs parents that are here to speak with you today. So we hope that you'll get a flavor for our very special school. I'm going to do some housekeeping items first. If you could, we ask that you focus on the presentation first. We're going to keep the chat closed so that you have a chance to really take in what we're saying, because we find that often people just start asking a lot of questions and we're actually about to answer them or we're answering them in the moment, and people are so busy asking questions that they're not listening. So if you could please wait with your questions. We will open the chat right when we're about to do the panel of students and family members. So you will have a chance then. You can also write us at any time at the email address you see there, admissions@bugsbrooklyn.org. And there is so much information on our website. So I also encourage you to always check out our website, poke around, and we're here to help you with your with any questions that you may have after this presentation. Please also turn your cameras off and keep muted. With many people on the call, it helps with the bandwidth to keep the cameras off, though we do love to see you. So Kevin, before we move on, would you like to introduce yourself? Kevin Peñalosa is our parent coordinator, and he's here to tell you about him and his role.
Yep. Give me one sec. Sorry, my camera. Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Susan Tenner has said, I am Kevin Peñalosa, the family coordinator here at Bugs. Thank you for coming tonight. For our Spanish-speaking families, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Kevin Peñalosa. Soy el coordinador de familias aquí en Bugs. If you have any questions, si tiene alguna pregunta, I will be dropping my contact information in the chat. Once the chat is open, voy a dejar mi información de contacto en el chat. Cuando el chat se abre después de esta presentación. Thank you so much. Enjoy the presentation. Gracias y disfruten de la presentación.
Gracias, Kevin, and welcome to everybody. We can go to the next slide and jump right in. Again, thank you everyone for taking the time for yet another Zoom experience, Google Meet experience. We know how you all must be fried from this, but I hope this is beneficial for you. We're here to make it the best it can be. So just to overview what you can expect tonight, we are going to talk a little bit about Bugs founding and what we're about. Principal Winnett is going to go into teaching and learning at Bugs. We have teacher Paula Hewitt here to also talk some more about our sustainability approach, which is woven into everything that we do. And you'll have an opportunity to meet other Bugs teachers and students to talk about the work, some of the things that they're working on right now. Dean Damion's here to tell you about life at Bugs and from a culture, like a school culture perspective in these really crucial middle years. That's a big part, a really big focus of ours. And we'll tell you more about our after school program and other pieces. There will be a student and family panel at the end, and you'll hear from some of those folks sort of woven throughout as well, and we'll open up for Q&A. Again, please don't hesitate to follow up with us if we don't answer your question. We will be posting this recording on our website at bugsbrooklyn.org. There's also, like I said, lots of juicy information on there as well. But before we jump in, I'll just do a quick overview of some of the quick facts about Bugs. We are a small school. We have 300 students. This is by design so that all of our students are very well known by most members of the school team at this really important stage of adolescent development. Our average class size is between 24 and 28. And our core content classes are co-taught. We have a ICT model. About 30% of our students have IEPs, and we serve all learners. We do have a uniform. It's a pretty basic uniform where we have a Bugs shirt that's green or white with the logo, and you have your choice of what you want to wear as long as it's appropriate on your bottoms there. And our schedule is, as a charter school, we do have flexibility with our schedule. We have a slightly longer school year and a longer school day. Currently, our school day is 8:10 to 2:40 with an intervention period until 3:15 for students who are invited to intervention. Our school day does change from year to year based on the needs of our program and what we're seeing is working. So there's some flexibility there that may happen. The latest we have ever been open is 4 o'clock for the standard school day. So stay tuned on that. But we do start a little bit earlier. So we start instead of the DOE that starts after Labor Day, we start the week before. So that last week in August for some really important orientation time. It is not an optional orientation. It is the start of the school year for us. And it does allow us to just jump right in, get to know your kids, the kids to get to know each other, to get to know the culture at Bugs. And we have a staggered start. So our 6th graders can have the run of the place for a day or two before the returning 7th and 8th graders show up, which is a great way to start. So we'll go ahead and go to the next slide before I pass this off to Principal Winnett. Yes, so some of you may not know what a charter is or know about Bugs's founding and mission. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview. We were founded in 2013. I can't believe it, but we're about to start year 10 next year. You all entering will be part of a very special class celebrating our 10th year of operation. And we were founded in 2013 by Bugs co-founder Miriam Nunberg, myself, and a group of community members, educators, and parents, really to provide options for families that were seeking a warm, inclusive, supportive, small, rigorous, and progressive program for their child. We really were seeking to address a problem that was happening citywide and also locally, where there was a shortage of middle school seats. And there was also a equity issue and there was a segregation issue where a lot of the schools in District 15 at that time, before the middle school initiative, were there was a lot of segregation where the selective schools were largely white and affluent. And we felt like in order to really provide an option that was open to everyone, the charter option enabled us to have a random lottery to be available to everyone. And also it gave us the latitude to implement a program that was really innovative, that allowed us to really explore sustainability education. You'll come to understand more what we mean by that and educating for sustainability. It allowed us the flexibility curricularly. It allows us that flexibility with the school day that you hear about, with our staffing, and also with our enrollment of students. So we're able to stay at 300 students. We do think that our smaller size is a great advantage to our students and their achievement, and just being known as whole people developing at this time. So we are accountable to our charter authorizer, which is the New York State Education Department. We call them NYSED. And what happens under the charter agreement is you're sort of given, we're a public school. We're open to all through a random lottery. You'll hear more about our admissions later. But we have a trade-off between flexibility and accountability. So we have a lot more latitude than a traditional public school in the district, but we also have accountability. And that means that we really do need to show the state, and the state is always looking to see that we're doing right by your kids and that we are doing right by the public system in delivering a stellar education to kids outside of the traditional district system, and that we're innovating, that we're meeting a need that wouldn't be met otherwise. And we really take that charge to heart. We were created, as I said, from the community to add to the community, and that's been our dogged focus ever since then. So we do, the biggest way that the state actually looks at that, and that we do somewhat as well, is through state tests. So although we have a very progressive approach to education, we do use the state tests to make sure that we are that our innovative approach is helping our students master the content that they need to master and the standards within that content. So we don't make a big deal out of the tests. We do have interim assessments, a baseline where we come to understand our students, a midline and an end line to see how they're progressing. we're not like a test prep school that you might hear about with other charters, but we do use that information to help us know how our kids are doing, and to also modify instruction accordingly. And we just encourage the kids to, like, don't stress, just show what you know. And we sort of have a balanced approach to that. At least I think so. Like I said, the lottery is random, and application to charter schools like Bugs is separate from the DOE middle school process. So please, please know that. Our deadline is April 1st. And I think for almost all charters in your city. And we'll tell you more about the lottery process later, but please note that it's completely separate. You don't rank us on your DOE ranking, and the DOE doesn't know you applied to a charter, and sort of vice versa. So there's really, not much to lose in trying to put your hat in the ring. Before I pass you off to Principal Winnett, our Principal Caesar, to tell you about really our teaching and learning at Bugs, I have to just say this, that to our kids out there. So all you kids, all you potential sixth graders that we hope to meet next year, please know that if you are not wild about gardening, that's okay. You can still be a real gung-ho Bug student without loving gardening. For us, the sustainability education is about how we connect the resources on the planet and how we use them, and it's the intersection with our human systems, and also what we talk about as the 3 Ps. So there's people, profit, and planet, and we focus a lot on hands-on projects in the community and things that help you apply your learning, and things that are meaningful to you, that you want to see changed in your community, in your school, or that you're very curious about. So sometimes that hands-on project or that interdisciplinary project is not necessarily gardening related. So if you're not, gaga about gardening, that's okay. Just have to say that because I know our name puts that front and center, and we do love our gardens, and it is, particularly during the pandemic, has been a fabulous place of community, of refuge. Even when we were teaching in our very live and innovative remote program, we did meet regularly outside in the garden to be in community together. So it's a special place, but it's not where we do everything. All right, I'm going to pass you off now to, if we could, Kevin, we can go to slide 5, and Principal Winnett will take it away for a while. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It is my pleasure to talk to you about teaching and learning at Bugs. As Susan said, I am Winnett Caesar. I transitioned from being the assistant principal at Bugs to becoming the principal, and it's been a really exciting time these past 3 years or so for us, and really understanding how a school like Bugs can stretch its muscle and utilize our programs, as well as our sustainability integration into curriculum to engage students and really keep kids motivated throughout the pandemic and throughout remote and hybrid learning and all of that stuff. And we were really able to see that our students were doing really well during a difficult time. So again, I'm really excited to talk to you about how teaching and learning works at Bugs, and appreciate your time this evening. Kevin, can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. All right, so Susan told you a little bit about what we do here at Bugs, starting with our interdisciplinary project-based approach. We do use traditional curriculums, such as our math program that is structured around math and focus. And we do use the Teachers College Reading and Writing Workshop model and curriculum in our ELA classes. Our social studies and science classes are based off of the state standards, and the teachers develop their lessons and unit plans around the state standards for science and social studies. We have living environments class that we offer for the 8th graders. And we also offer a blended math program in the 8th grade that includes preparation for Algebra 1. So we do try to stretch kids and have them take risks with high school content, and we support them in any way we can. We have a co-teaching model in all of our core classes. Our students meet in reading, writing, ELA, math, and science 4 times a week. And they also have additional, what we call enrichment courses. We have sustainability courses across each grade level that build students' understanding of the foundations of sustainability in those 3 areas that Susan mentioned: people, profit, and planet. And they also do quite a bit of project-based learning. This year, our big focus has been on community action, and our students have engaged in many different projects around community action since the beginning of the school year. So it's been a really exciting time for us to be able to find ways to get students out of the building, even though we have some limitations. We've been utilizing a lot of the resources within our neighborhood to engage students in this type of community action and also sustainability education. We have, as I was saying, ICT, or inclusive co-teaching, in all of our core subjects and in many of those enrichment classes this year. We were able to really utilize that program to meet students' needs in the last 2 years of school in a way that allowed them to be super successful. Our enrichment classes include art, technology, CAPA, which is creative and performing arts for the 8th graders. We also have Spanish from 6th through 8th grade this school year. And why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? Spanish art, CAPA, technology, and those sustainability classes that we offer. We also offer PE to every grade level. So it's been really great to allow students to experience all of those things here at Bugs. It says here, exceptional co-teaching. If we can go to the next slide, please, Kevin, we can tell you a little bit about our teaching staff. So teachers at Bugs, a lot of them actually started with me 7 years ago at Bugs. They stay for an average of 4 years. They've been with us for a while. They're really invested in Bugs and continuously making Bugs better, in working with our students and finding new, different, innovative ways to teach and develop themselves and our students. They are very experienced in their subject areas and qualified in their subject areas. So we really have a superb team of teachers who have stayed with us and worked with us throughout the years. Our staff is also very diverse and very focused on learning more about DEI, that Dean Damian will tell you more about, and making sure that they are having that inclusive approach to learning in their classrooms. Again, like I said, they are very experienced. They come with a lot, but they're also always looking to develop. They're very interested in professional development, either that we provide or that they seek themselves, and coaching from their supervisors as much as they can get it, as well as working together. So at Bugs, teachers meet in different ways. We have our grade level meetings, we have our department meetings, we have our interdisciplinary sustainability meetings where teachers meet to plan interdisciplinary curriculum. And we also have co-teaching meetings. So our co-teachers meet frequently.
No, she's not. She don't even look no Spanish.
What is your?
Please remember to
I
mute your
know,
mic.
I know she's not.
Please remember to mute your mics. Thank you.
Oh, does she look Spanish?
No, she's
No.
come from one in the country.
Hi.
Diane, I believe your mic is unmuted. Please remember to mute your mic. My apologies for calling you out. Thank you. So as I was saying, we have a strong co-teaching model. Our co-teachers meet many times a week to plan together and work together to plan our curriculum for students and to really look at the data that we use and all of that. We have started focusing and developing our skills in doing standards-based grading this school year, which is a really great step for us as a school. And we look forward to getting better and better at all of these things that we do. And we really look forward to working with you as future families. Next slide, please, Kevin. So I'm going to turn you over to our amazing Miss Paula, who will tell you a little bit more about our sustainability approach, and look forward to answering any questions you have about teaching and learning at Bugs as we progress this evening. Ms. Paula?
Thank you so much, Principal Winnett. I'm really excited to be here and to meet our prospective families and to welcome you and have you learn more about bugs. As both Principal Winnett and Susan told you, while we are based in a garden and we are a gardening school, it really is broader than that, and we really are working in all areas of sustainability. We have two students with us, Gabe and Namu, who, if you can unmute and be ready to join me, it would be great. So we can describe our sustainability approach. Namu, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Namu. I'm a 7th grader. So I've been here for 2 years and Bugs is really great. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'll be asking you some questions that are specific about some of your interests and work with us in sustainability. Gabe, could you please unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Gabriel Bailey. I'm a 7th grader too, so I've also been here for 2 years. We did our first year in the pandemic, but yeah, it's been really fun so far.
Excellent, thank you. And so as you heard from Principal Winnett, we're doing a lot of project-based learning. We're doing a lot of interdisciplinary work. I am the department chair for Enrichment, Arts, and Sustainability. And I'm also the sustainability teacher for 7th grade. So I work with Gabe and Namu. And then because I'm the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade art teacher, I also get to know every one of the 300 students at Bugs. And that's really special, and I really appreciate that. We do a lot of work outdoors, but as Susan mentioned, a lot of the work is also broader than the garden itself. So when we work in the garden, we are doing real world work there. We're also working in the community, and we're doing a lot of community action projects. Right now in sustainability for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the 6th grade is studying soil and gardens. The 7th grade is focused on water and the 3 pillars of sustainability and participatory projects. And the 8th grade is working on a community action project to take on a neglected and abandoned park space in the community. Also, the teachers at Bugs meet in the interdisciplinary sustainability teams and bring in every one of the academic areas, math, social studies, science, ELA. And each of the teachers takes a turn leading the development of that month's field study. Every month we have field study. And so the upcoming one is being led in the 7th grade by our social studies department. And we'll be going to Greenwood Cemetery and exploring both current information and historical information that we can find in the cemetery related to Black History Month. The future thinking, systems thinking, and stakeholder engagement, action orientation, and multiple perspectives that you see on the screen are things that Gabriel and Namu have a lot of knowledge about. And maybe, Namu, if you could describe some of the projects that you've done integrating the 3 pillars, the 5 ISEs, and what you're doing right now in sustainability.
Well, can this be from 6th grade and 7th grade? Because I have one from 6th grade and one from 7th grade. I really like this 6th grade project where I learned about, we each each student picked a sustainability topic, and then we learned about it, and we made a poster about it, and then we went out in the garden, and parents came, and they came to different stations where we taught them about what we learned. I thought that was really fun because I learned about worms. So I was learning about like vermicomposting, and which is the compost with the use of worms. And I just thought it was really cool to be able to like meet parents and like show them what I know. And for seventh grade, we did a field study project for sustainability where we went to, we donated food and like supplies to a organization called Mixteca, which gives like food to people that aren't as fortunate as us. So we donated to them, and on the field study day, we packed it all up and brought it to them in our classes, which was super fun.
Thank you, Namu. Gabe, would you like to do the same? Describe some of the hands-on projects that you've done with sustainability at Bugs and any year that you'd like to describe.
Yeah, sure, Miss Paula. So at the beginning of seventh grade, we did one project where we went outside, and down the block there's a little public playground. We went down there and we learned about this thing called permeable soil. So we were learning about like the soil, and we were learning about the earth there, and we learned a bunch of new things. And then we got in groups, and everybody did their own little project on it for one day. Me and my friends, we made a video about permeable soil, and it was really fun. We had a lot of fun with that. And then there have been a few other projects like that where we would learn about a topic involving sustainability, and then we would do a project like that. And I really like the projects that we do because the stuff that we get taught in sustainability, it applies to projects that we do at home, like outside of school. We're just learning how to do anything we want. It really helps you in life outside of school too.
Beautiful. Thank you, Gabe. Can you, either Gabriel or Namu, can you tell us why is permeable soil important?
Gabe, do you want to go? You can go.
Yeah, sure. So permeable soil, and if you don't know about permeable soil, it's when water can get through things. So when soil is permeable, it means it isn't like rock hard and crusty and dead, like dusty soil. It's soil that lets water in, and then plants can take in that water and grow, like in our gardens.
Beautiful. And it relates nicely to what you said, Namu, about the worms. Can you talk about how your worm project relates to permeable soil as well?
Well, in my worm project, I learned about worm habitats and kind of how they can't live without a certain amount of like air in the soil, because they have to like be able to tunnel through. And a lot of times there's like kind of spaces in the soil that are like air bubbles, and they can like use those to maneuver through the soil. But permeable soil is really important because permeable means that it also is wet, because whenever it rains, the rain can go inside the soil, and that makes the soil more nutrient. Because in sixth grade, we learned about like soil in science. We learned about soil nutrients and how that affects life. So worms were part of that, and it's really important that worms have the right type of soil. And that's why we do composting with worms, because as the compost gets better, the worms are able to live there because that's kind of their habitat.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I do want the people here to know also, in addition to the very messy and interactive outdoors work we do, we also do interactive work indoors. And I think both of you are doing your current project in sustainability, designing some of the parts of it on Minecraft. Is that right?
I'm not designing my project on Minecraft. I'm actually working with a few friends on their projects. I'm working with them, but I think Namu is designing his project on Minecraft. I'm not.
Okay, thanks, Gabe. Namu?
Well, yeah, I am, and it's cool because I'm working on a soccer field in 3D. It's basically based on what you want, kind of an idea you have to happen in that you could actually carry out. Like, I'm doing a project, but other people are also doing projects. Like, um, there's a group of kids that are doing a pet project and they want to get a pet in the classroom. So they have like, they're getting people to vote on what pet they want. They have forms. And there's a group of kids that want a skate park in the recess yard. So they're they're like making forms and asking for people's opinion. And I think that's really cool that you can take action for something you want.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to turn this back over to Susan and Principal Winnett, and thank you very much for talking with us, Gabriel and Namu.
Great.
That
Thank you
was-
so much, Paula.
That was so great, right, Winnett?
Yeah. I was so caught up. I was like,
We were eavesdropping on Miss Paula's class with Mateo and Namu and Gabe, excuse me. So yeah, we have Miss Pamela with Mateo up next. Take us away.
Hi, y'all. Good evening. My name is Miss Pamela. I'm the 7th grade reading teacher at Bugs. My pronouns are she, her. I've been teaching at Bugs for 3 years. This is my 3rd year. Principal Winnett mentioned that we use the Teachers College curriculum in our reading room. And it's a really beautiful curriculum because it is geared towards making sure our students are lovers of reading. So they get to choose their own books. They get to engage with the skills we're learning in the books that they would like to read based on the units that we're studying. And in that way, they really, really enjoy just reading and learning, which is lovely to see because a lot of kids don't like reading. Plot twist, in case you didn't know. So it's great to see. In addition, they also talk a lot about sustainability because Bugs does a beautiful job doing cross-curricular planning. So we try to make sure that the coursework that is done across our classes is supported across all classes, which is really lovely. Namu and Gabe did such a beautiful job, and now y'all are going to hear from Mateo, who is in our reading class. So Mateo, do you want to share?
Sure. So throughout this year and last year, I've had a really great time at Bugs, and I've been engaged in all of my classes. And I really feel like I'm getting an in-depth perception of all our lessons and really just getting deep into the topics, especially in reading. In reading right now, we're doing our historical fiction unit, and we're all in book clubs of 2 people. I think in maybe 1 or 2, we're doing 3 people. And Miss Pamela assigned each of our clubs a certain book that she thought would go nicely with what we're interested in. My club got a book related to World War II, and it's been super interesting to read. And with historical fiction, I think it's really important to read historical fiction because it gives you lots of information on history that's happened in the real world while giving you more fictional elements that didn't actually come true but actually happened, like the Holocaust and things like that. That's all I really plan to say.
Thanks, Mateo. Yeah, as Mateo said, we're doing book clubs right now, and it is really exciting, and I think the kids are really enjoying it. So that's a little bit about reading. Thanks, y'all.
thank you, Miss Pamela. And now I want to introduce you to our 8th grade math teacher and department chair, Mr. William.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Miss Winnett. Kevin, could you go to the next slide? Thank you. So as the department chair and eighth grade math teacher, I'm responsible for a lot of things, mostly preparing students for math in high school, which that first year of math is Algebra 1. So really getting them ready for Algebra 1. And in that process, we've broken down math into the three pivotal years in middle school: sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade. In sixth grade, we want that to be a foundational course that introduces students to higher level concepts, builds the routines and structures that will allow them to be successful in the more challenging grade levels. This is where they start to develop that resilience to keep going when things are difficult. I call seventh grade the bridge year. It is the year that connects sixth grade, which is extremely literal, um, tangible, to the abstract math that is algebra and onwards. This seventh grade, as parents, I will warn y'all, this is the year that you're going to get, why did they start using letters in math? Where did that come from? You're going to get those frustrating questions from your kids. But trust and believe that we are prepared to answer them and just help your kids do well. Eighth grade is interesting because we're combining some topics from Algebra 1 with the standard eighth grade math curriculum to allow all students to take the Algebra 1 regents. In previous years, only a select amount of students could take the exam, but now we're allowing all families to opt in and providing every kid with a foundation enough to get through that exam. As a result, the eighth grade math year is just a tad bit harder than a traditional eighth grade math year. But as we are crafting this course and working with Principal Winnett and other experts, we're making sure that this class is the best it could be. In math, we've adopted some project-based learning attempts. So we've looked at redesigning the Bugs Garden through rigid transformation. So if we could turn, flip, rotate things, how could we redesign the garden? In sixth grade, they were looking at unit rate problems. Our students were becoming secret shoppers for other people, looking at the best deals to get people the best deals, opening lemonade stands, imaginary, but looking at those finances behind the scenes of what goes into opening a business. So just a lot of those things in our math classes. I don't have any students, unfortunately, to talk about how great I am. So I'll just pass it back to Miss Winnett.
Oh my gosh, William, I'm more than happy to talk about how great you are. And I was really complimented that you lumped me in there with experts. I appreciate that, especially about math. Thank you so much, William. And now we will give you a little glimpse of what a schedule looks like at Bugs, as I mentioned earlier. And Susan also mentioned that this is what it looks like this year with the 5 periods for students and the intervention period as the 6th period for students who are invited to intervention. As you will see, all core subjects are in there 4 times per week, and all enrichment courses such as PE, art, Spanish, and our sustainability courses and tech are in there once per week. So this is a typical day in the life of a Bug student right now. And if you are not invited to intervention, you leave the building around 2:45 or you go to after school, whatever your choice is. This is subject to change for the 2023 school year as we evaluate the needs of our program. So while we're giving you this glimpse, you know, it's not going to be majorly changed, but there could be some shifts here. Next slide, please, Kevin. And now I get the opportunity to introduce you to Imani, Maria, and our wonderful 6th grade team leader, Miss Lucy, as well as 6th grade social studies teacher.
Hi, and welcome. As Principal Winnett said, my name is Mrs. Davis. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the 6th grade social studies teacher, grade leader, and advisor for the newspaper, NJHS, and student council. And I am joined today by two of my wonderful students, Imani and Maria. Maria.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So I hope you're going to fall in love with them as much as I have this year. So I'm just going to have a little conversation with you guys as if we're in school. Can you tell us some of your favorite projects, classes, experiences, things that you've loved at Bugs?
Imani, you can go first if you want.
Okay, so I'm gonna say my favorite project. And my favorite project is a social studies project, which when we did the board game. And the board game is when you made your own board game about whatever game you wanted to be based on. And it's about migration and push and pull factors. So, and my game was similar to Monopoly, where I made my own cards, and it was based on push and pull factors. And if you got them right, you move up, you migrate to another space, and if you didn't get them back, then you sadly move backwards.
Yeah, I love all of the projects that Bug has for us. I just think that all the projects are most of them have the option to work in partners, which is really fun. And even the ones that don't are these worksheets are really fun and engaging. But I really definitely liked the migration board game project too, because I literally went home. We had a whole month to work on it, but I went home and I wanted to that's all I wanted to do for the rest of the afternoon, because I was so happy that it was this crafty project, and I was very bored that afternoon and I needed something to do, and I just worked on it so long, and that was a really fun project. The other fun project that we did was in reading class. It was about fast fashion, and it was very eye-opening and also very fun to design the Google Docs, and yeah.
So I have to tell you, I did not pay them to say that my projects were their favorites. But I am smiling really hard because I just realized something, that this is one of the first times I get to see their faces, because they wear masks all day in school. So it's actually really wonderful to see the two of you without your masks on. So that was a little moment for me. Sorry about that. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit? We did this great project, and you were both in my group, a food equity field study project in October for Halloween. Can you tell them a little bit about what our food equity project was?
I guess I'll start. That was by far my favorite field study. And it was so we went out into a neighborhood close to, sorry, my phone is ringing. We went out to a neighborhood close to Bugs, and we did a survey to families to see how their financial state was and how much they spent it on groceries every week. It was very fun. We went back to school and we collected the data, and we were both in Miss Davis's group, and we would survey people, and they would answer, and then we took it back to analyze and see how their race or where they lived affected how much they spended on what they bought every week. And that was really fun to do. I definitely saw a big difference racially, and we didn't go to different places, but it was a very, very fun field study, and I would do it again anytime.
I also think that the food equity project was my favorite project, because it was so fun talking to people that interviewed and how their experience with the supermarket, and if they have to travel like really far or take the bus or the train or their car to go to their local supermarkets, or have to pay a lot of money, which I think people shouldn't. I think that we should lower down the prices of food because we really need food. People really need food to survive. And I really like engaging with people. So me engaging with people and asking them questions is really fun for me. And we also made signs to like engage people into it. And that was like really, really, really fun. And seeing how much people usually spend at supermarkets and seeing if it's close to their house is really interesting.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add that Miss Davis taught Mr. Mark and Miss Davis, before we did the field study, taught us a little bit about the difference between equality and equity, which was a really fun lesson, and it was interesting to see how two words that you could definitely confuse to be the same thing had a completely different meaning from each other. So I just wanted to add that. Sorry.
Just made my heart very proud. Thank you for adding that. Okay, so you guys are sixth graders, and the people who are on this call might be sixth graders. So what would you say it's like to be a sixth grade student at Bugs?
Being a sixth grade student is a very fun. There's a lot of responsibilities to have, like making sure you go to the right classrooms, making sure you get on to class on time, and making sure you're getting the right books. There's a lot of responsibilities, but it's really fun being a sixth grader. You have a lot of projects, a lot of not a lot of homework. So if you're stressed of homework, don't worry. It's really fun being a sixth grader, and I enjoy my experience at Bugs.
Yeah, I pretty much had the same thing to say as Imani. There isn't a lot of homework, and I was very worried about because people kept telling me in middle school there's gonna be more homework. You have to step up your game and stuff, and I was kind of freaking out about that when I entered Bugs. But mostly the homework is just projects, which are always very fun, and you get two different grades. You get a grade for your project, and then you get a grade for your homework, and then you get a work habits grade, which is your attitude during the lesson and how much you learned and all of that. Also, all of the classes are co-taught. I think Miss Susan already said a little bit about this, but all the classes are co-taught, which is really fun to get a perspective on from two teachers teaching the same thing. And we do have a uniform. It's a green shirt with a white logo, or vice versa. I'm wearing it right now. And when you enter Bugs, they separate the 7th and 8th grade wing from the 6th grade wing. So it's very you don't feel intimidated by the 8th graders or anything. I'm very sure I thought I would feel very intimidated, but I don't really see them that often. And we have an off-campus lunch option, which is super fun. So yeah, I love being a 6th grader at Bugs.
I love that. Thank you. Last question. What advice would you give to the 5th grade students on this call about getting ready for Bugs, or middle school in general?
My advice is don't be scared, don't be nervous. Bugs is fun every day. There's a lot of fun experience. You won't get bullied. Nobody would be mean to you. If somebody is, tell the teachers. It's very fun. Make sure you do your work on time. It's okay if you don't, but I suggest you to do it on time. And don't be scared at all. My first year, like my first week, I was really scared of what people might think of me because I'm short. But I've seen a lot of people that's short as me, and that made me feel more comfortable and in my experience. So if you're short like me or tall, don't feel uncomfortable. If you're different from everybody else, don't feel uncomfortable because we're all people.
Yeah, also our class is like the shortest class. But I would probably just give advice, like when you're entering middle school, everybody always tells you like, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fine. And a lot of the times you're so freaked out you don't actually believe it, but it is true, it's gonna be fine. And since everybody feels this way, you're gonna make a lot of friends, and you're gonna have time to figure yourself out. I would just say try your best, turn in your work on time, and also make sure that you have fun while you're learning, because if you're just stressing out, there's no point. So yeah, I would just say try your best and have fun.
Thank you both so much for joining me in this conversation. I really enjoyed it. Have a great night.
Thank you so much, Ms. Davis, and thank you to the Bugs students who've been on this call tonight, and sixth graders, you rocked. Thank you so much. All right, so here we're just giving you a quick glimpse of those enrichment classes that I mentioned before. Arts and creative and performing arts for 8th grade, technology courses for 6th and 7th. This year, students create portfolios that follow them through their grade levels in technology and work on a variety of other projects. As you saw when Miss Lucy was presenting to you, we have a variety of different clubs. We have student government, we have NJHS. Students are open to create clubs and get teachers who help them facilitate those clubs. So we have a lot of different types of clubs at Bugs. And of course, we have Spanish across all grade levels. So we do a lot of academics. And yeah, you heard a lot about sustainability and sustainability integration, but we also have other options to offer to students at our school that allows them to have that enriched experience in middle school for those 3 short years that they're with us. And now I believe I'm turning it back over to Susan Tenner to tell you a little bit more.
Real quick. So thank you so much. And the kids, thank you. I can't thank you enough. It's been so great to have Gabe and Namu and Maria and Amani and Mateo. You guys are all really rocking it and helping everyone get to know what it's like to be a Bug student. So Amani did talk about how she's had such a smooth transition, but we know that by definition, the middle years are not always easy. Our guidance counselors, we have 2 guidance counselors that are at our school and really help to drive our advisory curriculum, which is every morning students meet with their advisor and delve into social emotional topics, and also the self-organization that we talked about before, and executive functioning. They also talk about high school admissions, because you're going to blink and it's going to be time to think about the next goal. As Wynette said, it's 3 short years. So we're here to help you. Annalise Chavez, who's our guidance counselor who leads the charge around the admissions process, meets one-on-one with every family around their choices. The students are really involved, and they research and become involved in what they're looking for in a school, and they're researching their options. I'd say, we really just have had wonderful success with our kids getting into great fit schools. And sometimes it's the ones that there's all the buzz about and there's a lot of competition maybe to get in, and we do well with that. And sometimes it's about just really, as it should be, finding the best fit for your child and what they need for their high school experience. So this is just some of the schools that we often send our kids to. We do have supports for the specialized high school process. We do offer free SHSAT preparation. We feel like that shouldn't be something that only families that can afford a tutor should have access to. So we provide that to all that are eligible. And we also provide support to those that are developing portfolios or performances for those performance schools. So we can go ahead to the next slide. And great. So life at Bugs. I think Dean Damian's not here, so I can quickly just give you a little taste of our culture at Bugs. We do have a strong culture that's based on our CARES values of community, awareness, reach, exploration, and student voice. You've heard a lot of student voice tonight. And it's, it is a time of middle years where there's risk taking and there's different social group exploration and things like that. And we're here to make that as safe and positive as possible. And we have a lot of structures in place to do that, and such as our CARES values curriculum. We have a lot of a very restorative approach to discipline. So people really explore how they can make things right and what they've learned from things, and the community can heal together. Talk about next steps. We have great celebrations and a great student orientation all the way through to graduation. So we can go to the next slide. I'm going to go kind of fast so that we can get through here. Oh, special education program at Bugs. I'm not sure who's here. Should I just run with this, Wynette? I think so. We have
really quickly. I can do it really
Oh,
quickly.
great. Thank you.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, and Susan mentioned, we do have an integrated co-teaching program in all of our core content and many of our enrichment classes. We do have also a director of inclusion who manages these programs that include services for ELs. We have 2 guidance counselors and any other related service providers that are needed are coming directly from the DOE and are provided via DOE contract. So we often have speech and language therapists and occupational therapists on site from the DOE to service children. We have our reading specialist for reading intervention during the school day as well in our staff, and Miss Betsy has been with us for quite some time at Bugs, and students love her, and she gets amazing results with our students and helping them grow in reading. So that is our special education program at Bugs. We, like we said before, are a diverse community. We serve many different types of students here.
Great. I'm going to put in the chat the name of our director of inclusion. She can answer if you have individual questions about your child around our special education services. You should please reach out to her. So maybe Susan Bax, if you could throw that in. We realize that we've hit the hour mark and we're about to switch over to our panel for Q&A. So we're going to be pretty speedy on these next couple of slides. We have a free after-school program. It's got all sorts of cool stuff in it, including sports teams, arts, and fitness activities, social emotional learning, and leadership. It's awesome. If you have any questions about that, you can write afterschool@bugsbrooklyn.org. You can go to the next slide. And just quickly, so you can get a sense of the physical space, we really are pleased that we can have a small school with large school amenities, particularly in New York City, where it's so hard to have things like a gymnasium, for example. So we work to share access to the gym with the other schools that we share the building with. We rent from the Brooklyn Diocese our space in the building, which was formerly the Bishop Ford Central Catholic High School, and the Department of Education rents in that building as well. So the DOE, there's a pre-K in there, 280, and there's another middle school, 442, and we all share and have a strong supportive collegial relationship there and share use of these spaces: the auditorium, the gymnasium, the cafeteria, and a beautiful newly renovated recess yard. We have recess every day, and we feel that physical movement along with reflective and meditative time is necessary in every child's day, and so we built that in. We can go to the next slide. Sorry, I'm just trying to whiz through. So we do have our own entrance. We have our Bugs Gardens. You might see them out front. We have several of them. They're student designed and maintained. They're awesome. A lot of classes happen out there. As you heard Maria say, there's a 6th grade wing, which can really help because there's a lot for kids to switch classes and have different teachers. And you know, it's nice when it's just across the hall or next door. So that's the 6th grade wing. You can see some projects out there that they're displaying, project boards. And then there's a 7th grade, the 7th and 8th grade wing that soon our 6th graders will move on to. So we can go to the next slide. Awesome. So as I hope you understood from our presentation, some of the things that really distinguish Bugs is our whole child approach, that it's very student focused. It's innovative with our sustainability curriculum. We have a lot of hands-on opportunities. And it's really an opportunity for, if you think your child needs to be more of a big fish in a smaller pond, that is something that happens a lot at Bugs. There's a lot of larger schools that offer you know, maybe even more things, but that this is more of a place that's a little bit more family style. So we're going to turn your questions over to our amazing panel. We have here today, let's see, well, you already met Amani in 6th grade and Maria, and Gabe and Namu. It's so great to have you in representing 7th grade, and Mateo. So they're here to answer your questions. We also have some parents. Let's see, we have Adriana on, we have Michelle, and I think Chanel. She has a Bugs grad and also a current Bugs student, and she also works at Bugs. We have a lot of those scenarios going on. And we have also maybe Kristen as well. So let me look at the chat and see what's cooking here, and see if our panelists can answer as well. So the sports that are offered, we have the Hornets, the basketball team, that is very popular, as well as I believe we have soccer, and sometimes it changes a little bit from year to year, but the basketball is super consistent. Yes, I agree, Sarah. The students are awesome. Yeah, basketball, we're very committed to basketball year over year. We're actually participating in 2 different leagues, if I understand correctly. And so that's great. They might have even played tonight, the Hornets. 6th grade regents. I don't understand that question. Regents exams are offered, can be offered to 8th graders only. It is high school level classes. So those are only offered at the 8th grade level. That is in living environment and algebra 1. So students are eligible for both of those. Let me see. I guess I'll just punt it right now to, we'll address, Jen, your question around admissions, but while I have the kids and parents, why don't we hear from them a little bit? I guess I'll switch to the parents because we heard a little bit from the students earlier. Does any parent want to jump in about what it's like to be a Bugs parent, or any advice or guidance you can give to these folks about who's the best fit for Bugs?
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm happy to jump in. So we've had an excellent experience at Bugs. We're very, very happy to be a part of this school. My son's in 7th grade, and so 6th grade was weird, but luckily we got through it doing remote school for a lot of the year, and then we were finally able to go back, and he was very excited. And this year has been so smooth. He always comes home so happy. Some of his favorite teachers are the science teachers. The 6th grade science teacher is really cool. And I suppose for advice, you know, if you want to go to Bugs, what I would do is I would, since you can't rank it, what I did was I sort of put in my mind where it would go in the rank, were I to rank it. And then when we got an offer that was under that, it was a clear, like, and we got the bug spot, it was a clear decision. So that's just sort of a logical way that I did it. But the more time I spend at bugs, the more I realize that if I could do it again, I would have ranked bugs #1. That's just me. But it's a perfect fit for my son. He has an IEP and he needs a lot of extra help with writing and spelling. And Miss Betsy has been amazing at helping him in that. The teachers are really good about letting him redo work, especially written work. When he turns it in and then he wants to get a better grade, he can go back and work on it some more. I guess if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer it.
That's so helpful. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, it means so much to hear directly from other parents about the process. And there was a question, students, about any advice you all had for a shy student. I'd say by virtue of you being on this call, you're probably not by nature shy, but we all have that part of us. Do you want to share something about advice for a shy student, or something from yourself or a friend that you know?
Hi, sure. So I guess if you're shy, which I'm not, so I might not be the one to answer this question, but
no, you're not.
But I'd just say be yourself, because Bugs is a really inclusive school. So there's really nothing, in my opinion, that you would have to worry about. All the teachers are really kind and the students are really nice. I have a bunch of friends. I made a bunch of new friends during my 6th and 7th grade year. And in your advisory, your advisor is always like personal. We do academic check-ins on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I feel like there's a lot of like support. So for people that need, there's also the guidance counselor. So if you're having like a problem, you can talk to people and, like, I guess, share what you're having a problem with. There's always people to talk to.
I agree with Namu completely. I think, obviously, I'm not too shy because I'm on here, but I think that with Bugs, I felt this huge change in how it's a small school. It feels very supportive of you. And when I was having tough days, when I have panic attacks sometimes, I can always talk to a counselor. I can always talk to my friends. And if you're shy, you don't need to like participate in every single class discussion. I like to do that because I love class discussions and I'm not too shy, but you don't have to, and you'll still feel welcome and accepted always. And obviously middle schoolers especially always have, or not always, but sometimes feel like people are judging them, but in Bugs I felt a lot safer, and like I can definitely talk to people, talk to my counselor or my friends when I need help, when I need to reach out to someone. And I think that it's a very like family-like community, and it's been a really good experience with that in Bugs.
If I can jump in really quickly, this is what's important about that first week of school that Susan talked about in the beginning. That is our orientation. Students spend most of that week with their advisory, getting to know each other and doing team builders and getting to know their advisors and ways that they can get support and learning about the school. And that's why it's a really important week, especially if you are a child who happens to be a little shy. It helps you get integrated into the community and learn new people and get to know people and make friends and things like that. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, that school starts so early in the year, in August for us. That's an important week for that kind of student to be at school.
Great. I just put in the chat a few things that I hope will address some of the questions that I saw about after school offerings, as well as IEP questions. Yes. So Elena, the best bet is to write after school at bugsbrooklyn.org, and the after school director can tell you about the details of those offerings. I think they do shift a little bit from year to year and semester to semester, but there's some good stuff there. We do have, as you heard Wynette talk about, our enrichment program does have a couple of technology courses. They're really very exciting for the kids, and they focus both on design and sort of core technological literacy, and then also innovation. So yeah, I'm just checking out the chat a little bit more. Does anybody else see something they want to jump in and address? Yes, I see. Thank you, Michelle. You were answering some questions about lunch. That's always popular with the kids. There's two things that are super popular with the kids. Yes, we have lockers. Sixth grade, they haven't had full access to their lockers. We're working on that. But seventh and eighth grade definitely has their lockers. COVID has also thrown a wrench in a lot of things where we've tried to keep our procedures as safe as possible. And we do have outside lunch, which is super fun for a lot of kids, but they always have options for coming inside. We also have picnic tables set out in the front yard. And Maria, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in about the lunch thing if I can. Lunch is super fun and it's very flexible. How it works is the recess yard which is really fun. They just got like a new jungle gym or something. The recess yard is open, so we have 40 minutes of lunch time. And the first 20 minutes are spent in the cafeteria, and then the recess yard opens, and you can choose if you want to go outside or not. We also, a couple weeks ago, started an off-campus lunch option, which you can go outside and buy your lunch, and then you can either eat it in the picnic tables in the garden or in an outside place near there. I'm pretty sure no one has gone to Prospect Park yet, but I don't know if that's an option or not. But I don't think so. I'm not sure. And then, or you can just go back to the cafeteria and then have your lunch there. Off-campus lunch, you can come back whenever you want, as long as you plan your time wisely and you have time to eat what you bought. But if you don't come back on time, you lose your privileges. But it's not really something to worry about because there are a lot of restaurants close by there, and I always come back on time when I go to off-campus lunch. And the recess yard, when it got cold, I stopped using it, but before I used it all the time. Going outside to recess is optional as well as off-campus lunch, and you need a permission slip for it. I think that's all I have to say about lunch. It's a very flexible schedule, and it's very fun.
And to answer your question, Maria, you can only stay right there at that Bartle Pritchard Square entrance, because we do have staff stationed at different points along the way where kids can be, so that we're still keeping an eye on folks while they're in off-campus lunch. So there was a question about access to fresh food and whether we use DOE food. We do use DOE food. When we first started, we did have a different food vendor, but now we do provide the food options through the DOE. It makes it the most affordable and available to all of our students. It's free. We do have, though, some really amazing connections. We have hydroponic units throughout the school in the science room and all of the science classrooms, as well as other rooms where we're growing fresh fruits and vegetables, some that are donated in the community and some that we use ourselves. And we also have a farm to table grant where the kids are experiencing it's in connection with the DOE food, where we have a grant where we're really experiencing the very unique fruits and vegetables, and the kids are learning how to prepare them, and there's a chef that comes on site and works with the kids, so that's super fun. I also wanted to highlight Michelle, who's on the call, a parent. She's been volunteering for us to do our COVID testing, and one thing with that I really appreciate as a charter school having independence is that we're able, during the pandemic, it hasn't been easy, let me just say that, and our decisions haven't always been loved by everybody, but we do keep an equity lens and try to exercise our flexibility to keep everybody safe and to really think about the students first. So we were able, for example, to test all of our community. We test, it's a little bit, the relevance of this is maybe shifting a little bit as Omicron has moved through, but at certain points, testing has been so critical to keeping our school open, keeping our kids in school, and keeping our community safe. And we test over 80% of our student and staff population every single week versus a Department of Education 10%. So that's a place where is an example of where the charter school flexibility has really served our community well. I know a lot of people are like falling off here. Is there any other questions here that we want to address? Oh, the bell schedule, Evelyn, yes. So the start and end time, right? I saw that earlier in the chat. So there's a sample bell schedule that is on the website. You can check that out. We do follow the DOE vacation days because we want you to have, if the DOE is off, we are off. With the exception of the start date, right? We open earlier. We want you to be able to, as much as possible, coordinate kids that you might have in different schools. While we also need to meet our needs, we have a key design element for a school, which is extended time for learning. And so we don't always line up exactly, but when it comes to vacation days, we during most of the school year, we do. So you can check out our calendar online. You can check out the bell schedule online. So please submit your applications. You can find us on www.bugsbrooklyn.org/apply. And it's super easy. It takes like a hot minute. If you have any questions, write us at admissions. And
there was one question, Susan, about SPED to Gen Ed student ratios. We do follow all of the required mandates for our classroom demographic of students. So yes, to your question, we do follow all of those limits. And also, I just wanted to add, in terms of the school calendar, another key design element at Bugs is professional development. So while we follow the same vacation days as the DOE, we often have, or sometimes, not often, but sometimes have professional development days for our teachers built into our schedule throughout the school year.
Yes, that has been really helpful, particularly this year. It's enabled us to have a day coming back from break to regroup, have professional development, the students have an asynchronous day, and then when we return on Tuesday morning, the whole community is tested for COVID before we proceed with our day. Yes, so there's some things are different, but mostly it's consistent after Labor Day. Evelyn, will 7th graders get notified the same time as incoming 6th graders? Do siblings get priority, Erin? So if you look at the admissions page of our website, you will see the priorities. There's a priority for sibling. There's a priority for District 15, but we do serve and have had many students from throughout Brooklyn come through Bugs. So if Bugs is the place for you, hang on, be in touch with us through the admissions email and go ahead and apply. We also have a waiting. So if your student is eligible for free and reduced price lunch or as an English language learner, they will go in the lottery multiple times, which increases their chances of being chosen.
There was a question about cohorts, well, classes following each other. So the way that students are assigned to classes is by cohort. So 601, 602, 603. So 601, they go to all of their classes together throughout the day. Because of some of the restrictions with COVID, or advisories also followed their cohorts. But typically our advisories are the places where students are mixed cohorts, and we may return to that with some of the restrictions lifting for the next school year. But core courses, enrichment classes, they follow each other from class to class throughout the day. The question, I think, was about someone applying for 7th grade, Susan. Do they learn about their placement at Bugs? So like when we accept
Oh.
new 7th graders.
Oh, thank you for, yes, I didn't quite follow. Thank you so much. So yes, everyone will be notified about their status in the lottery after the lottery is conducted. We will email you, we will let you know, we will call you, and you can always check in with us. So if you haven't heard from us and you're like, what's up? Please write us at admissions@bugsbrooklyn.org and we will let you know your status. You can always check in. So yes, seventh graders, if you're transferring, we will also let you know. Yeah, so that's how it goes. The deadline, so Shirley, it depends on when you're offered. It's traditionally a few days to a week. It kind of depends. Some of the cycles we go through very quickly because it's very time sensitive. We also try to line things up with the DOE so that you know all of your options, and we do also, and your answer is real, right? Like we don't want you to say yes and it's like not a complete yes because you don't know your DOE options. And likewise for, we don't want you to be forced to say no or something if you don't know all your options yet. So it depends. Please read your offer details carefully to know when you need to get back to us by. Well, you're welcome. We're just a few minutes shy of 7:30. I want to thank the staff our bug staff are incredible. And the kids are just so inspiring and amazing. So thank you for taking the time out of your evening, and our bugs parents we can't thank you enough. So thanks for spreading the bugs love. And if you all have any questions after this, please just write us at admissions. Thank you.